Skyler, what's up, dude? What's your top album for 2019 so far? We're gonna have this be a kind of a back and forth discussion. So. I'm hearing the repeat. It's killing me.
All right.
I thought it was coming from
I think it is.
Rihanna, what up? What's your top album 2019 so far? All right, I'm gonna do a quick actual intro. I might just have to do the volume. Just hit the volume and it'll keep streaming. But yeah, Strong Calm Podcast. Strong Calm Podcast. We talk strong communication, strong community building, how those two things build strong company, whether that's the company that you're building, like a business, or the company that you keep. I'm super passionate about hip-hop music. It got me into creative work. It's been a proper foundation for a lot of my career, I would say.
Right.
And I will always keep up with hip-hop culture because it is it's powerful.
It is.
And today, got Chris Patton, DJ Cicero.
Yes, sir. Cicero back in the building. We did our 2018 recap video a little while back, so figured we'd get back in here and do a little bit of what's been going on in 2019, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for joining. Invite your friends to the hip-hop group. I only want hip-hop heads in the group, though.
Hip-hop heads, yep.
I don't invite my mom. Mom can't come in this group. I guess I won't kick my mom out. I won't do that. But
right.
at the same time, she probably won't.
Step her knowledge up on the
exactly
on the golden era of hip hop.
Invite your friends, and this is going to be an interactive with the group too. So if you've got a favorite album for 2019 so far, put it in the comment. We'll talk about it. So. Let's take it back to kind of January, I guess. We'll just kind of kick it off. We'll start with the news, the breaking news, the news of the moment. Then we'll get into top albums and what we're looking forward to for 2020, or rest of 2019, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
So I guess the top one, the first thing that happened really was Nipsey.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Like that was the top of the year?
Yeah, it was right around January, right there at the beginning. So, I mean, that was obviously a big deal. I remember in the 2018 recap, you had Nipsey in your list, so we had talked about him a little bit there.
Favorite album of the year?
Yeah, you had him in there, and like I said, I wasn't a huge Nipsey fan. There's a few tracks I really like. Hustle and Motivate, still one of my favorite tracks. So when all that happened, it was very unfortunate. I guess it kind of shined a lot of light though on him as a person, him as an artist as well, but also a lot of the good it looked like he was doing in his community. So, and that's right up your alley with community here. So, I mean, unfortunate, but it seemed like at least a lot of people learned more about him. And it's just the social media age with something like that happening. I'm a little bit older, so, I mean, I was still young when like the Tupac thing happened. Mm-hmm. So, but it just seemed like that was kind of the biggest way something like that could happen. But with social media now, there's so much extra, just footage of him and good times and people going to the store and everything. So it was interesting, sad, but also uplifting, at least for me at the same time a little bit. Yeah,
you're right. And it's interesting you bring up, of course, the Tupac comparisons and the Biggie comparisons. And
right.
Unfortunately, this happens. This is a story that's been told in hip hop
right
too many times.
Yeah.
And it's really just it's a myth that probably will never go away. The rapper that dies too young.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing to kind of watch it happen.
Right.
I've never actually
unfold. Yeah.
There's that, like we lost XXXTentacion, but I didn't really have an emotional connection with that because I just didn't connect with the music.
Yeah, a little bit younger, skewed younger audience, but yeah.
But with Nipsey, it was like favorite album.
Mm-hmm.
Been watching him grind for a while.
Right.
I wasn't like way down. Like the mixtapes and all that kind of stuff. But still, it was just really interesting to watch. It's essentially a legend become created.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of what it felt like. I mean, I remember. Obviously, what is it? The freshman top 10. I think that's when I first heard of him. On a XXL and stuff like that. But it was always seemed like, he was on the come up. He was kind of on the rise there. And I mean, then this happened and it's like, boom, almost legend status, almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And, at first that's kind of, it's kind of weird, but at the same time, when you see a lot of the reactions from California and from people out there, I mean, he was already obviously there.
Right.
And on the West Coast, we just might not have felt it as much here. We just kind of got the music. But, it seems like his, impact just around the community out there was so big that it just made it such a bigger story and in a good way, I think.
That's the thing. I think that a lot, like, I didn't realize what kind of impact he was having on that local level.
Right.
Because you only hear, a couple interviews and that kind of thing. I knew he was interested in like science, STEM and all that kind of stuff, which is like, crazy. It's a whole nother way of thinking, for most rap artists. So I knew he was doing some different stuff, but the impact was really something that was, I didn't anticipate, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Obviously well deserved because he's a man of character. Of course, the background influenced a lot of who he was and stuff like that. There are still videos of him like slapping people in public.
Oh yeah, that was a funny video though. Yeah,
right. But at the same time, that's just part of who he was, and but it wasn't all of who he was.
Right.
So
right.
But anyway, on a lighter note, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Rest in peace.
Still made some dope music that still can enjoy today. What do you think about Khaled Tyler, that whole deal? Billboard #1.
Right.
If you're not up on it, Tyler hit #1 album first week.
Yep.
At the same time, DJ Khaled, dropped on the same Friday. He got the #2 slot. So, my favorite hashtag from that was, sort of blessed, I think.
Oh.
Hashtag sort of blessed instead of.
Oh man,
blessed,
I saw one that was like, "We the second best" or something like that. Like they were on him, And I don't know, man. It's interesting. I mean, I know we're gonna talk about Tyler probably a little bit later as well, but Khaled was on, I don't know, his little extra push. I mean, he's always been respected in the hip hop community. As a DJ, he started off grinding in radio stations and kind of the way he always made his albums. And it's just, I think when Snapchat hit, he started really pushing the Snapchat stuff. I don't know if you ever followed him on there, but, just posting all the time, super positive and, I'm so blessed. And,
the flowers. And,
right, touching flowers and all this great stuff. And that was all, great. And, I felt like that persona was genuine. But, kind of as this comes around and you hear some of these other stories, I guess he ran up in the offices or whatever, his label offices, banging on tables and telling people, y'all aren't pushing my stuff and all this and that. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it kind of brings up that, it's show business, it's entertainment, with that duality that some people have, where they can be, super positive, but also have this other side too. And it just seems like it's so, I don't know, childish, I guess, to be on the #1, where did I rank? And when I first saw it, I thought it was also, I think it was hip hop. He ended up being second in that, but then the overall Billboard, I think he lost out to Billie Eilish too. So when I first saw that, there was a little post about the mysterious music, I thought they were kind of tying her in there too. And I mean, both of those albums are different. I mean, we're not going to probably talk about Eilish too much, but I was surprised that was as good as it was.
I didn't even listen to it.
Pretty interesting stuff, man. I mean, I really thought it was going to be like, bubblegum pop type of music, and that's why I was getting so much. But she's got some depth in there. I think it's her brother that does all the production, so the production is really cool. And then Tyler, obviously, he's been, changing from album to album, always dope production. And for him to be so out of touch with why people would gravitate to that was just what was so weird to me. It's like he's saying that people that like Tyler stuff are out of touch, but really it's him that looks out of touch by saying, I don't understand this music and it's mysterious, and well, just check it out. You're a DJ, you should be interested in it, But he's just kind of so caught up on that mainstream, let me kind of color by numbers, let me put this artist here, let me do this here, and that'll make it a hit or make it a good song, when really you got to get in there and hash these songs out. And that's what Tyler did. And I don't know, it's interesting. I guess it's still unfolding now. He's like suing Billboard, I guess.
Apparently he was gonna sue Billboard. And to me, I think it has a lot to do with finances. I think it's financially motivated, and I don't know anything about how they get paid.
Right.
But in the ages of streaming and stuff, they can't make all kinds of money from that. Of course, you can make, good amount, but it's definitely changed how people are paid.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that labels and stuff and artists negotiate like, well, if I hit number one, I need X amount more.
Or just helps you be able to get those other deals, maybe help you with negotiating the tour.
And as an artist like Khaled, who's had numerous number ones, it makes sense to just be like, well, if I could put most of my income from this album that this label is going to give me based on if I hit number one, I can count on it, so no big deal.
Right.
So I can see why he would be angry.
Right.
Because he's losing out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not a good look. I can see why you deleted the IG post.
Right. And again, it just seems like you said, he's obviously, we the best. He's always focused on that. We're the top.
Right.
So like you're saying, I can see why the number one. What it kind of reminds me of is, I know you're into sports a little bit, but a lot of contracts, like for NBA players, like if they make the All-Star team, or they make first team All NBA or something like that, they they get a bonus. You get just kind of extra perks based on those ratings. How well you rated for the year. So it kind of feels like that is what he's so used to. But again, it just seems like he's doing his thing with blinders on and not realizing that it still comes down to the content. It comes down to the music, and if your stuff is resonating or not resonating as much as somebody else, this is what you're going to end up with.
Right.
And Tyler is just an interesting guy because he's always kind of stayed out of everybody's way. He's kind of was an internet troll, I guess, for a little bit, or people kind of saw him as that, I guess. But he's never been one of those to get in those type of competitions. So just for him to kind of get so worked up about him, and still, I don't know how he knows nothing about him, or it seems like he's just oblivious to who he is.
Right.
That's just like, man, come on, you should be a little more in tune with your industry.
Or try to work with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's somebody that needs to be on a DJ Khaled project. I could see that. Being.
Yeah, I don't know. You think Tyler would do that though?
No.
Yeah.
It would never happen.
I would bet he'd be like, no. But
no. But DJ Khaled definitely took an L there. And I hope this motivates Khaled to do something different.
Right.
In terms of, or at least just how he rolls things out different or something like that. But I don't think he'll ever stop doing what he's doing. He makes some good tracks. Is it on either your?
No.
Yeah. So did you listen to it?
Yeah, I listened to it, and I just kind of get that feeling a lot of times where it's just plug and play of artists,
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's necessarily a lot of chemistry on the tracks. It's just like, hey, this guy's a big name. I'm going to put him here with this producer, and that should automatically garner enough, clicks and views based on those outside elements.
Right.
And, I won't say like that way of making records is dead. I always think of P. Diddy kind of did the same way with, just putting whoever he can in there. But, when you kind of do it so just feels like so
obvious.
Yeah, obvious, or just kind of, hey, I'm going to send you this track, you get on it. There was no collaboration really. It was just, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
I think there's rooms for that in the game always, because it's kind of just great promotion for artists and whoever you are, but to also expect it to be the most, digested music, especially as widely as there is to digest music today.
Right.
It's got to fall back. He's become a meme in himself with a lot of that other stuff. So just, be a little bit more chill. Let your music steal you the best. But, if you don't get number one every time, just pump the brakes a little bit.
It's okay. Yeah,
it's all right. But I don't know. He's got a kid to feed now. He's got a side, so he might be a little more worked up with all that. So
Right. Did you watch Kanye? Did you watch Sunday Service?
Yeah, I watched those on and off. They were real mysterious with it. With you see the clips, so I'd always just see the clips. I was like, well, is there gonna be a full thing of this or what? And then the name leaves me. The big concert, the big thing they had where he did the headlining set.
Yeah,
y'all know what we talking about. The big thing. He was on the big hill, not Bonnaroo, Coachella. So when he did that, it seemed like, I don't know, everybody was so interested in it, and then when it got to that, I don't know, people still seemed to like it, but then I kind of saw like a negative turn of it, which you were just calling it a minute ago. What'd you call it?
What?
The Kanye
the cult?
The Kanye cult. So but yeah, when I saw that, I was kind of like, man, it's kind of weird now that I see it like on a big scale, So I don't know. It was interesting. I mean, I get how he likes to, kind of shake things up. I mean, he kind of put the Twitter down and was focusing on that, which was good. But then there was something else with the merch for that, right? Like people were getting worked up.
Yeah. People, I liked so I was off that day and I had nothing to do. So I turned it on and it was good music. It's just good music,
right.
Good instrumental. It's not like, it was a lot of gospel kind of focus, but a lot of Kanye's music just in a instrumentation, you know what I mean? With a choir. So it was dope. I hope they, put it out one day,
right.
But the merch caught some flack because of course it's expensive.
Yep.
Because any top tier artist is going to have expensive merch.
Right.
But it was just the plain like pastel color that he's been doing for a lot of his merch, and said like Holy Spirit I think on it in a circle.
Right. It's just kind of like
and
God loves.
Yeah. And then he had socks for $50 that said church socks on it. I think.
Man.
And but. People were like mad about it, but I just don't understand the anger really. Like I'm a Kanye like stan, I guess,
right.
But at the same time, it's like any other artist that is of that level, which there are a few, are gonna have expensive merch,
right?
You know what I mean? They're gonna have. Plus, you think about, Kanye the designer,
he's always thinking in that realm, yeah,
right. And you think about the people who are going to go buy that. If it was cheaper, more people would buy it, and then they would just turn around and flip it on eBay for twice the amount.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
never thought about that.
And
that's
that
kind of
happens
protecting them.
with the $250 sweater. It just does it. So to me, it's just it doesn't make any sense to get mad about it because he's still it's real rare value, Kanye value. So whatever it says, regardless, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? Like, people criticize like the quality of it as if it could be like a Hanes tee or something that. People are like, I can't believe he's selling it for $250. But but at the same time, people do that all the time with everything else. You know, it's like Supreme. They're selling like bricks with the logo on it. For, it's
stickers.
It's all the same. It's all the same. So anyway,
Kanye cult. I don't know. We'll see if it's a full-fledged cult or just it was just for the Sunday service stuff. So,
right. I don't think it's a cult yet. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, it was well thought out. I mean, just the whole, the way those little short videos were coming out, remixed to the songs with the gospel vibe. Everybody's wearing the same. Like, man, what is going on? This is crazy looking, But also, like, it was interesting. So,
but you mentioned you didn't get to watch the David Letterman interview yet.
No, I didn't. So
on Netflix.
Give me a rundown.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It gives a kind of a window of like Kanye is in a mental state of unrest or whatever, coming from and like prior to that,
right?
So crazy year, and then like I think this whole Sunday service thing is like back to Zen moment for him, where he's like in like this healing mode,
right?
Where he's just trying to calm his mind down, and that's kind of the vibe that you get from that interview of like, oh, okay, he's trying to like really go to this whole other space of like peace and positivity and that kind of thing. So it's all kind of a exercise of that.
Right. And he definitely probably needed that. On the edge of some of the other stuff. And I think that's kind of what I saw where people were getting worked up was like, oh, well, now he's back to this religious stuff, and I'm like, well, I mean,
he's always been the religious
He's always been there. And I mean, everybody's, like you said, has to reset, has to try to find their center again somehow. So I don't see why he can't do the same. Right. And if that's his way of going about it, I have no problems with it. So, but it's just Kanye. There's always going to be those two ends of, the spectrum on how people respond to him. So,
right. You want to jump into favorite albums of the year?
Yeah, let's dive into what we got here so far. I think we did ours a little bit differently. I had kind of like a few up top and then some honorable mentions, but I'll kind of just run through all of them, I guess. I will start with 2 Chainz.
Okay. That's on mine too. So
okay, rapper go to the league. 2 Chainz back at it. What I liked about the project was it's a little more, I guess, introspective. I mean, usually he's just kind of on his braggadocious thing, but I guess I learned a little bit more about 2 Chainz besides obviously, at some point he was doing a little bit of dirt over here, and now he's flossing. But I don't know. I like how he had like the skit from his like basketball intro, like him getting introduced. We knew he balled, but that, and then he talked about his coach a little bit more. And I think some other people I saw were bringing it up, kind of like in the vein of 444, where it's just like you see a rapper kind of maturation a little bit more, subject matter, like Jay-Z did on that project. And I mean, he had great production throughout. One of my favorites is Threat. I think Threat to Society is the full name, but Ninth Wonder beat, always down to hear him on something a little bit different like that. Was really good. And then, 2 Chainz still going to do his thing the rest of the way through. Got bangers on there. So Rapper Go to the League is one of mine.
Yeah, same here. 2 Chainz is one of my favorite rappers.
Yep.
Because you can listen to his tracks and then go back, and then you're like, oh, man, I didn't realize he said that. Like,
yeah,
it's got layers to it.
It's got a little in there.
And I really like this project, too. I liked how he's got strong concepts. Like, he did the Pretty Girls Like Trap Music, had a lot of success, so he kind of doubled down on that, did another strong concept, strong color scheme with the, like, instead of the pink trap house, he went with the yellow basketball, hoop, and strong calm, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, his marketing's on point.
Yeah, all that plays so much into it. And like you said, that last project, I mean, that got huge with the pink, and there were people making houses around. There was a house, I guess. People going to the house, and so I mean, now you have to think like that, just so how your things are designed digitally. Yeah,
he made it like he makes it a whole thing, and I like that. I like how he rolls out albums. At first, I was looking forward to it, and it came out at the top of the year.
Yeah,
and at first I was like, well, there it is. You know what I mean? Like I felt kind of like there's a couple sleepers on there. Like I didn't really like. What was the one with man? It's gonna bother me. The one with Wayne on it.
Oh, right. I can't remember the name of it.
I'm Real or whatever it is. $2 Bill.
Yep.
So, like, it makes sense. That's like a layup type of song for him. But at the same time, sometimes I don't like those type of projects where it's like, oh, this is that type of record. This is that type of record.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand he's like that type of artist. So he kind of has to make those kind of...
Just to keep his little...
Yeah, so... But at the same time, I keep coming back to this album, and I think it's going to be one of the stronger ones for the year so far because of it's got staying power, like a lot of albums don't these days. So
right.
It's definitely his best album so far.
Yeah, no,
that's a good one.
I like it, man. Like I said, the 2 Chainz and Wayne collabs, they're what was it called? Holly Grove.
Holly Grove.
Yeah, they did that, and I mean, so you expect Wayne to pop up somewhere. But,
I mean, he had a dope verse on there too.
Right.
It's just like the concept of music, the track just didn't.
Right.
But really, everything else has just grown on me.
Yeah, man. It's solid, man. 2 Chainz doing his thing. So
yeah. I'll pick one.
Okay.
I really liked Yelawolf's Trunk Music 3.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah.
So we can go there.
Yeah. So, how often do you pay attention to Yelawolf?
I like Yelawolf, man. I wasn't right on when Trunk Music 1 came out. I wasn't right there, like anticipating it. But, once it kind of garnered and I got listens to it, I was like, man, this is really dope. And I mean, being from where we're from Texas, it's just like, to me, Yelawolf kind of has that appeal of like a guy I went to school with or something. Or, like this real country dude, but he can spit.
Right.
He's real well versed in Southern hip hop. And so I always like, how he went on with Trunk Music. Then he kind of branched out. He got the deal with Shady, and he was kind of trying to expand his horizons a little bit. And I think it worked sometimes, but other times it's a little tricky. I liked Radioactive a lot. So I mean, how much do I follow what Yelawolf has coming out since Trunk Music 1? Pretty much every project. I at least check it out.
Yeah,
give it a listen. And go ahead.
Well, like the crossover appeal for him is real hard because he's so Southern.
Right.
Like it's. I think a lot of people love him in this region, but you just don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's got like a real cult kind of following.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with him. I checked out his last project, which was, I don't know, it's like a car burning or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude can spit. It's like, he's such a good storyteller. He's such a good, he puts you there. He can really paint a picture and put you there. What is that?
Trial by Fire.
Trial by Fire. So it was dope. It was really like, but it was real strong in the narrative type of like, in the narrative way.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Trunk Music is more like I can
bangers. Let me spit for y'all.
Yeah. But the whole album was so dope. And it came at a time where I was like, man, is anything good gonna come out this year? And it came right at the right time.
Right.
Even the features are freaking dope.
Yeah, it didn't go too, it didn't reach too far. Like I said, when he had the first Shady album, I think was Radioactive, and that's the one where they took a lot of chances on features and trying to, branch him out. But I think with this one, he kind of scaled it back. DJ Paul on a lot of the production, as well as Jim Johnson, guys he's worked with for like a long time. So it just took it back to that Trunk Music feel. And, from just people that got down with Yelawolf at Trunk Music, as he did these other albums, there's always that, let's get some more Trunk music in it.
Right.
Like everybody wanted him to go back to that. But on the crossover appeal, I also thought early on, like, I was like, this, again, because of the reason I'm like, I know tons of people that, like this kind of music or just came up with hip hop but still love country or that vibe. I was like, somebody's gonna knock that down. And like you said, he maybe is a little too out there for the mainstream to get behind him on the country tip. But, as we can see, we don't have to say the name of the song, but this hip-hop country crossover thing has finally, blown up on a, more kind of a younger level. But I was always like, yeah, this guy can rap, in the classic Southern way we like, but he can still sing. Like you said, on Trial by Fire, there's a lot of just ballads, just
that's true.
Country songs on there, And I'm like, I think that's what, people will gravitate to. But I'm glad to see he came back with Trunk Music 3. Right back to the slum, right back to what made Trunk Music 1 so dope. Obviously, tons of low end, tons of bass.
Yeah.
And I mean, just, spitting, man. The spitting that he always brings.
And they got the acoustic kind of live instrumentation of the beats and stuff. Like, it's not trap.
Right.
Real, it's just booming Southern beats.
Yeah, it's more the era before trap got so big,
Right,
like I said, around the, working with DJ Paul, but that 3-6 Mafia vibe, a lot of that's real strong in there. So
after this, I figured out he did a lot of YouTube freestyles.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of those? They're dope.
I saw a few.
They're
I know
good.
He had like the diss of who's he dissing?
He dissed a couple people.
Oh, like Post Malone and some other
Post
people.
Malone,
I saw that one. Which I don't know. I get why he, did it, which is weird though, because on this album, one of my favorite tracks is Rowdy, which has MGK on it. And I mean, he's still on.
He did his thing on that too.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But he's still on the Eminem label, so I was like, how's that work out?
Right.
But I think this is his last album, so maybe he's like, hey, I'm cool with MGK. This is my last album, so I'm gonna put who I want on it, and then peace out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm wondering what he'll do.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's done with Shady and them. I mean, I think it was a good look and a good thing at the time, but again, I think he's so unapologetically Southern with kind of his approach to stuff. It kind of reminds me of Big Crit a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to Crit's level, but it's hard to make him cross over into that mainstream stuff just because he's
best when he's just doing what he does.
Yep.
Cool, man.
So, Yelawolf, Trunk Music 3.
What's your next?
Let's see. Okay, next I guess I'm gonna go. I can't remember if I brought him up in the honorable mentions at 2018 with his last project, but I'm gonna go to Denzel Curry with Zoo.
Yeah,
I believe is the name of that one.
Yeah, I had that on my like tentative list, but it's not really. I've only listened. I have listened to it twice.
Right.
But what'd you think about it? I didn't really check out Taboo that much.
Yeah, Taboo. There it is. Okay. Yeah, Taboo was really. I mean, it's pretty experimental on my end. I mean, Denzel Curry in general, or just overall, is kind of a. I mean, he steps outside the box. He has a lot more of the heavy rock influences. He actually just did this a cover of Rage Against the Machine, Bulls on Parade. There's this YouTube thing called Like a Version. So it's all these like up and coming artists, but they remix like classic songs, or they just cover them, but just kind of put that little spin on it. So he had that out. So I mean, he obviously is really big on rock and kind of that boombastic.
Where's he from?
Florida, Miami. I want to say.
Okay.
So yeah, he's from there, but I mean, he's always been kind of a different character. He does a lot of stuff with I'm forgetting their name now. It'll come in a minute. But he gets with the different hip hop acts. But with Zoo, he kind of pulled it back a little bit, whereas Taboo was a little more experimental and really kind of cutting edge as far as production and his rapping and a lot of yelling on there and a lot of different things like that. He kind of brought it back. I think he's got a beat with a song that Tay Keith did the beat on this one. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot more accessible, for Denzel Curry. Obviously his fans love what he does, but I think for him to get a bigger fan base, he's got to be able to kind of cross over and do some things like that. So
yeah, I didn't check out Taboo primarily because it was so experimental.
Right.
And I heard it was experimental. I didn't even give it a chance, to be honest, because I like experimental stuff, but I also gotta like where you're kind of going. Yeah, so
it's pretty heavy. He gets heavy.
I heard it was heavy and dark and all that. And I'm like, I'm not in the mood for it. So, but I did check out this album, and it's good. It's different. It's got it's pretty heavy on hooks and stuff, but it's pretty dope. I'd play it. It's good.
Yeah, the track I like is Speedboat, and I mean it comes across as a very, I wouldn't say safe, but right where hip hop is right now. But if Denzel Curry, to kind of hear him pull it back, still be able to do that style well, and then still have some of the different stuff that he has on there, that was really dope. Another song, Ricky, is on there with a pretty good message. I think it's talking about his dad and kind of life lessons he told him coming up, but still with a cool beat to it. So Denzel Curry, Zoo. Like I said, I think I missed him at honorable mentions. I like his career trajectory, I guess. He's able to do something different, then still pull it back a little bit, be a little more accessible. But always pretty quality stuff from Denzel Curry. So shout out to him.
Dope. My next one would be Your Old Droog. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Have you checked that out?
Droog. I've heard a little bit of it. I can't say I've gone all the way through it, but I've heard some Your Old Droog before. Not really a throwback artist, but just gives me that, obviously, the MF Doom vibes.
Right.
But just something that there's not a lot of out there right now. So I always like it.
Yeah, I didn't even know about him until a couple years ago. He came out with something, and what was it? Dead End, I think, reviewed it or something like that. They put me onto him, and then I liked what I heard, and he came out with this album, and I checked it out, and man, I played it. I think I was working out or something and played it front to back, and it's so refreshing to hear that type of production, which is kind of kind of boom bap type of production. Like you said, he's got bars. He's a punchline type rapper. He's more like a MF Doom. My wife was listening to he just came out with another album, so he did. It wasn't even close, a couple months ago, a few months ago, and then he just came out with his other album called Transportation, which I checked out. It's more melodic kind of thing. This one's more bar heavy.
Right.
This other one's more melodic kind of songs, Okay. But still dope. And then Chelsea was nodding her head to it. She was like, "Man, this is the first thing that you've played in a while that I've been like, yeah."
There you go.
She was like, "He kind of sounds like Nas. He does have a kind of Nas type of feel to him."
Yep.
And but yeah, I just really enjoyed the album. If you just like rap music, if you like rap and lyricism, he's definitely got it.
Right. So yeah, man. Shout out to Your Old Droog, man. I don't know. Every time I hear his name, I don't know if that's what it's from. Do you ever watch that Old Greg skit? For some reason, I always think of that. It's from that somehow is his name, but I don't know.
I don't know what his name is from.
But yeah, like you said, I mean, the stuff I've heard from him, I was just looking. I think Pax was the project I heard from him first that I really was like, man, this is like you said, refreshing, kind of throwback. A lot of artists aren't really doing that right now. It kind of reminds you of that Stone's Throw era. Right. Which I don't know who he's signed to or whatever, but
I think he's independent.
Independent. Yeah, well, it has that vibe to it, so I didn't know if he was rocking with him or not, maybe that's why it had that vibe. But yeah, man, I like Your Old Droog, so shout out to him.
What's your next?
Next, I'm going to go to somebody we both went and saw live. It's the Bun B.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both went to the concert at Clicks.
Man, that was on my...
You had it on there? Okay, yeah, TrillStatik.
That was kind of an honorable mention for me, yeah.
Right. I mean, that's where it was on me, really. But it was just a really cool concept. I mean, we didn't get to it in news, but I mean, yeah, Bun came into the year with that whole home invasion thing.
Man, yeah.
So, I mean, that was kind of a deal, right?
Man, we could have lost Bun B.
Yeah, it was really crazy, man. I just watched a little bit of the Breakfast Club interview with that, and yeah, I mean, it's a crazy story. I mean, so
man,
but luckily,
he lit him up too. He did not.
Yeah, he went at it.
He had no time.
Had some times, man. So I mean, he had his wife. So I mean, I kind of can understand why he
for sure
reacted the way he did. But yeah, I mean, just thinking about that. I mean, Nipsey thing had happened in that you hear that Bun store, and it's just like, man, that's crazy. But he was also making music. Like I swear, this came out or they did this right after that happened, like maybe the next few weeks or within a month,
right? And
it was just really cool how they went about doing this. I just was on the Twitter doing my thing, and it's like Bun B and Statik Selektah are going to be recording an album in 24 hours, so check out the live stream. So within that time you tune in, you see them in the studio knocking out tracks, and I mean they did this whole album I guess in about 24 hours or right at it. It was all streamed, and it turned out dope. Still, Statik Selektah is a dope producer, DJ,
very,
and then obviously Bun B can do his thing. So I just really enjoyed how they went about making it. I never heard of another album being done like that, and I mean they had a lot of dope people come through. Big Crit came through on the track. Had Talib Kweli. Also had a pretty good one with Fat Joe, which, I never know him to be. It seemed like he'd be like a real slow working type of cat, but, that's part of the live stream I caught was him working with Fat Joe on that track. And probably one of my favorite ones was called I Know, with like a singer, a Hail Supreme. I never heard of him. But, I mean, a lot of just, dope kind of New York, East Coast beats. Cool to hear Bun B over all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then be able to come together, collaborate, and knock something out in 24 hours. That was as good as it was. So
yeah.
That's why I
like this project more than his solo album, really.
Right.
Like it was just, I guess I like the production more. Like I like Statik Selektah's production, and yeah, the story just around it and how they built it. I remember them going live on Twitter or whatever, but people going live and doing stuff. I'm like, okay,
right.
Right. But yeah, and I think it was late. I was like, man, I can't do this.
it's the East Coast time, so I don't know exactly what it was, but I mean, I just remember, just seeing it. Hey, we're doing this right now, and it's like, what?
That's a dope project.
Yeah,
for sure.
So shout out to them, man. What you got next?
My next was T Grizzley's album. Have you heard that?
Okay, I have not. I know people been on the T Grizzley, so you got to fill me in.
Yeah. So T Grizzley, he's a younger guy from Detroit,
right?
And he's come out with. This is his third album.
Right.
And the reason I like him is because his delivery is like, it's super clear.
Mm-hmm.
He's a storyteller.
Okay.
He's got kind of a unique flow, you know. It's not something that you really heard before. He's one of his own, but it's pretty dope. And then this album in particular, Timbaland got a hold of it.
Wow.
And I was just watching an interview with him, and apparently he got connected with Timbaland through Kanye. So he was hanging out with Kanye,
right?
Through some other stuff.
What I heard, like he was supposed to be coming up on something, with Kanye, and
so it's a dope album.
Check it out, man. I mean, I've heard some tracks here or there, and like, I mean, he's been, he's coming up, he's coming, that kind of deal. And I think did he chime in on the Khaled thing or something? I think I saw a headline, it was just like T Grizzley chimes in on whatever, but
he's just got a good flow. His last two albums are all right. You could kind of tell they're just, he's a younger guy, so he's just still kind of figuring things out. But this one, it's got some good tracks, and the production's really, really good. So, Had To is a really good one.
Okay.
What else? Had To's dope. That's probably my favorite track. But a few of them, like I like all of them. There's not really anyone that I skip. There's a couple that he sings on, which is a little different. He doesn't sing very often, but he sounds all right. So I'll skip some of the singing ones,
right?
But it's a dope album. T Grizzley Scriptures.
Grizzley. Shout out, check it out. Next up for me, I think we're gonna go across the pond over to the London town.
No joke.
Yeah. This is actually a female MC as well. There's a couple of good, female MC projects came out. Just a quick shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. I thought that was a pretty good project.
That was a good project.
Because I mean, she's coming through with kind of the, the southern vibe, kind of the twerking stuff, but she can still rap. So I like that. But
she can definitely rap.
Yeah, and she was actually in Tyler a little while back as well.
Was she?
True Virtue, the homies with True Virtue that helped with the Paul Walsh show that actually got him in here too. They had him in Tyler a while back. So she's, out on tour doing the thing. So shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. But this artist is across the pond, London town. I'm not saying that to be funny, but she is. It's a UK rapper. Her name is Little Sims. I don't know if you heard of her, but
yeah.
Really good. I've liked some of her previous work. She has a really cool song with Kehlani called Table that came out a few years back. Wasn't the first thing I heard from her, but one I just really liked. And her album was called Gray Area, which it's really good. Before, like I said, I mean, she's always been kind of a lyricist, a spitter. So she still brought that to the table here. I think she just turned 25, so I think that's why it's called like Gray Area of like being in the mid-20s, kind of trying to navigate that, which is always fun. But I mean, lyrically, she really did step it up on this one as well. Just very proficient with the flows, a lot of upbeat stuff, but also some laid-back vibes. One song that's really good is called Selfish. It's kind of the single, which is, song hook, but she still does her thing on the verses. And another song is called Pressure. Delves a lot into, like I said, kind of being 25, that coming of age, and also a lot with, being a female MC in a male-dominated area, but just, finding her way within that, I think, is also what's tied into Gray Area. So Little Sims, if you read down for some English flows, it isn't really, grime? I don't really do the grime thing, so it doesn't fall into that, if people are like, I don't want to get into that, it's just her straight spitting, pretty great production. So check it out, Little Sims.
Yeah, I checked it out. Needle Drop rated it really, really high, and nice. He wore yellow flannel for it.
Did
so,
he?
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
So that's who put me onto her, and then I added it to my playlist. I got like 700 songs in a 2019 playlist, so I could keep up with it.
Nice,
but it didn't hit me as well. Like I guess it's one of those things. It's a kind of a moody type of album.
Yeah,
and I didn't feel like being in that mood. Right. But at the same time, it's got good instrumentation. I enjoyed it. But another artist across the pond that I really enjoyed was Skepta's new
really?
album.
Okay. I hadn't heard all of that. Like I said, I don't go across the pond too much. I know. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But
I don't either. This is probably the most that I've done because I checked out hers briefly. But I'll have to, since you recommend, I'm going to have to go back. And then I checked out Skepta's. Okay. And I've heard Skepta before.
Yeah.
He had the song with A$AP Rocky last year.
Yep. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. And that melody and all that, like that bounce gets stuck in your head. Like I can still like recall it, from now. So I checked it out, and it's a good album. I enjoyed it. Like I really, I'll go back to it. It's got a good bounce to it.
Yeah.
Another kind of refreshing type of album. It's not trap heavy, it's not drug heavy, it's not all this stuff, and then like the way that they turn beats and flows, it's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, this is like, it's like, wow, not everybody has to rap like America, you know?
Right.
And like, so he's got some good storytelling in there, and it was just a real interesting album. Skepta's I can't remember what it's called though.
Yeah, I like the Praise the Lord feature, and like you said, I mean, with some of the rap from England or overseas, it gets a little, tedious sometimes because I'm not used to those rhyme patterns, those rhyme schemes, and just when you delve into that grime era, I don't get too much into that, outside of the Man's Not Hot song or whatever that dude made. I was kind of making fun of it, but that's why I did like the Little Sims. I'm sure Skepta's kind of the same thing where it's still very lyrical, like I said, you can understand. It's weird to say, but you can understand it. Like, there's not a lot of heavy English lingo or stuff. Like I was still right there with it. You just you get the difference in the A's and a few words pronounced there, here and there. But lingo wise and subject matter, I could ride with that Sims, and I'm sure Skepta's the same way. Yeah. For you. So,
any other ones that you want to highlight?
I've got one left, and I'm guessing we're gonna have the same one. So, if you had some other ones before that one,
no.
He's got one left.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
we're at it. We're at Tyler the Creator.
Yeah,
IGOR.
Yeah, man. What do you think of this album? I think, you know, I didn't know what to expect really going into it, and it's good music.
Yeah, it's just good. I mean, I remember when we were talking about, you know, coming in and doing a kind of the middle of the year recap video. I remember you just kind of being like, well, I hope something really, really good comes out before we get to it, you know. And then I think the next week or so, you know, the Tyler dropped. And for me right now, I mean, it's up there as, you know, should be up there for album of the year, rap album of the year as well. I mean, there's not a lot of rapping on it. And I mean, I think we talked a little bit about Tyler the Creator. I mean, I respect his comeuppance, the whole Odd Future movement,
right?
How they did things, but I never was a big fan of his rapping. Like, there's a few tracks on like Bastard that I really liked, and you know, some of the other stuff, but sometimes a little too dark. I just don't really like the tone of his voice. Sometimes it's a little too deep and
yeah.
So that always kind of held me back. And as he went away from that, there's a lot of tracks on Flower Boy that I would vibe with, Cherry Bomb, but you know, then there comes the rapping, and I'm like, oh man, wow.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got, you know. So production wise, I mean, this guy's been on a crazy fucking rise of just great production.
Right.
But with me, what always kind of held me back again was when he'd start spitting. I just couldn't get into it. So what I liked about IGOR a lot was all that great production is there. It's kind of got some lo-fi vibes to it, sometimes instrumentation or just on his voice, but less Tyler vocals. There's less or when he's in there, it's pitched up, or it's just he's put some distortion on it, so it's just not so in your face. And it fits to, I guess, the story of the album, the music, and, you know, a lot of times he's not even there. You know, it's just him on the production, and he might, you know, say a few sparse words, and here comes a guest artist. So I really like how he went about producing the entire album, utilizing the guests. Kind of reminded me of like Kanye on kind of Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a little bit, where, you know, he's just kind of curating it all and making it a cohesive project to tell his story, but he's, you know, piecing in these different artists and different things throughout. So how about you? What were you feeling?
No, I agree. When I played it on my big speakers at the house, you know, just to give it a good, and you know, I don't stay up for albums.
Right.
I wait till Friday morning.
Oh, I got
and
you.
I play them, you know, instead of like waiting for Thursday midnight, you know.
Right.
Like, so that morning I played it, and it's a shorter album. It's like 40, it's like 45 minutes or something like that.
Right.
It's under an hour. So pretty much I listened to the whole thing while getting ready, and got to listen to a good amount of it, and it was just so nice to listen to it was just good music. Yeah. Like, it wasn't, I didn't have to pay attention really to the lyrics too much and to enjoy it. And it was just great instrumentation. I really liked Flower Boy's production. Was it 2 years ago or a year ago?
Yeah, maybe 2.
And I really love the production, but I'm kind of like you. Like, I like Tyler's rap. Like, he can rap, he can put some words together in like creative ways, but like sometimes his voice will take you totally out of it. It was just like it soaks up everything around it. Right. So the pitching and stuff I enjoyed, because you can just kind of let it play, and you can really let the whole album repeat, which is rare these days too. Yeah. And so I really liked the textures of it. It's just a beautiful album to listen to. And it doesn't have a lot of Tyler's voice that just kind of sucks you out of it. So salute to him. He deserves all the credit because he did the whole thing. Yeah. And it's just amazing to see this dude's growth from, you know, Odd Future Wolfgang.
Yeah, wilding out, jumping around, you know, eating roaches and all that, whatever they're doing.
Exactly. So it's just really interesting to watch him grow. So protect Tyler at all costs. We need him. Yeah, and I mean, we talked on the Khaled thing. It's just interesting to see it kind of come full circle and back to that, where although, you know, everybody's in the hashtag era or the, you know, the big names and everything, it still can come back to just good music, you know. And you know, IGOR is it, I think, for Tyler. I mean, right now that's the album, I mean, maybe out of everything everybody's gonna be chasing for the rest of the year, I think. Because it's that good. And I mean, he's selling too. He's selling records. I think he's sold out Madison Square Garden already for a concert. His audience is like got a big crossover. Right. Like, you talk about trying to get crossover appeal, like DJ Khaled's strategy of like, well, let's just get everybody on, you know, everybody, you know, and do a lot of features and stuff. But Tyler's music just has crossover appeal. There's people who like indie rock that like Tyler. There's people who...
That's the thing. I think when the beginning of Our Future was coming up and they were kind of the outcast or this different thing in hip hop, I think people that, didn't listen to much hip hop or were kind of looking for an on-ramp if they're big rock fans or something, I think it was that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of them are still there. They're growing up with Tyler as well. So now they got a little more money. They can go buy the albums, buy the concert tickets. And so, just seeing that kind of that market or that demographic of people stick with him, ride all the way up, and now he's got a solid just overall album. I mean, it's hip hop, but I think just overall, it's just a great album. So
in the Kanye example, I think, or the comparison is spot on too, just because, you talk about DJ Khaled as a curator or whatever, and that's what he does.
Right.
Tyler,
very loosely, very loose.
It's like whereas Tyler's like a true curator, musician. He comes at it as like a musician, not a DJ.
Right.
So
And I mean, just also on that real quick, I'm big on production. I mean, the Neptune's influence on there is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Kanye influence. You can feel it in IGOR, but I mean, that's a lot of the pianos. I just, reminds me of the early Pharrell, Neptune's vibes. And I mean, he's said tons of times, he's a big, Neptune's person, so he studied the producers that came before him, put that all back into his own mix, and it's great. I mean, just tracks. I think Earthquake might be the song of the year. Someone's got to come get it because, again, I mean, that's just a great melody, great song.
Yeah.
Again, just a little bit of Tyler in there, but use some different features. Igor's theme, the first one, and then one I really like is the Gone, Gone, Thank You. And that's the one I probably listen to the lyrics the most. I mean, this whole ride of a relationship, and then they break up, and then kind of once he's getting over it, that just the way that song plays out is really interesting, I think, and kind of getting over a relationship and realizing, hey, it's not going to work out, but things still, were great when they were great, but it's time to move on. So
and it's dope that like you can tell a great album when it's like I don't even know like the tracks necessarily, but you can know the story. You know what I mean? Like it's almost, it communicates to you just as it is. It's not like you just pick up on the vibe of all the records and stuff, and it takes you through it instead of like, oh, okay, like you have to rely on him to tell you something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everything around it. Yeah, it all kind of it's all curated in that perfect vessel of, this is how I want you to feel along with everything that I'm saying. Right. And even if you don't pick up what you're saying exactly, it's there. You know what I mean? Right. So that's what I really enjoyed about it. Like after the first listen, couldn't really pick up all the lyrics, but I knew that it was like a breakup type of album. Like, what it was, a love story that he was telling. Yeah. So, it's a great album.
Well done, Sir Tyler.
Anything else, man?
We're going to talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to for the rest of the year.
What are you looking forward to?
First of all, I think it should be coming up here pretty quick, is going to be the Freddie Gibbs and Madlib project. Whole album. They got a few singles out now.
Freddie's been on a tear too.
Yeah. I mean, he's been dropping stuff. They did the first album. I can't remember what year that was, Pinata. But, it's a few years back, so they got back together. It's going to be called Bandana. So looking forward to that.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah. Other ones, let me see. Wrote them down somewhere over here. Oh, well, I don't know if there'll be an album, but they did announce they're getting back together, Little Brother. I'm excited about that.
You're happy about that.
Yeah, really excited. So hopefully they drop something before the year's out on that, but just patiently waiting. Should be good. While I'm on the Ninth Wonder tip, I guess there's Murs and Ninth Wonder are coming out with an album here in a little bit, which has got a very long and weird title, but it's like the Iliad is dead and the Odyssey is alive or something like that. Yeah. But I'm a big Murs fan, Ninth Wonder fan, so excited for that. And then I think you got one. Go ahead.
Well, Crit,
yeah. Crit's about to hit pretty quick here,
like this next month or something like that. So happy to see that happening. His latest track was good. His latest single. It's good to see him like actually doing and knowing that he's doing exactly what he wants to do. Just kind of doing the independent stuff. Who else? I'm not sure of anybody else that I'm really like, you know. Oh, man, not Jid and them. Who is it?
Oh, just Dreamville?
Yeah, Dreamville.
The whole thing. Yeah, I don't know exactly on that either. I mean, I've heard that
it's gonna hit this summer, I guarantee it. But
right.
It's
they all
that
change their
track.
avatars to some color or something. It's very. But yeah, so I don't know.
Sometimes I wish like some of these release cycles were, you know, a month shorter.
Right.
You know, because it's like, come on, man, just drop it. But I think that's gonna be really dope. It won't be like album of the year or whatever. But I know there's going to be some good tracks out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Jid, I mean, I think we both have him. I know I had him on mine for the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's
DiCaprio
dope.
too.
Yeah, DiCaprio too. And, you know, if J. Cole's involved, it should be up to par there. So I'm interested for that. One other one, I'm trying to find the post because I know I saw that shit earlier. Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw like they had shared some cups and they had like something in September.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm guessing that was a release.
They were hanging at Rick Rubin's, or something like that. So yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah, so excited for that. And then one more I'll throw in, I guess Nas, Lost Tapes too.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, a lot of good stuff to look forward to, man. So, you know, the first part of this year was it started a little slow, I think, as far as musically, but maybe this last bit we'll get some real heavy hitters here and see what we get. So
yeah, definitely. Awesome, man. Well, what do you think up in Hip Hop Heads group? Definitely leave your comments and stuff like that. Trey, shout out to you. He says he's talking about Grime and Skepta getting some love. So
there you go.
I saw that he posted about that not too long ago. And then Ian Ferguson, thanks for the comment. What up? And yeah.
Hip Hop Heads group is really dope, man. And I thank Aaron for making it, man. It's just great to bounce different albums coming out. You know, when these topics come out, we get to talk about it.
Yeah, and I love the I love seeing other like clips and stuff of other people's, you know, that people contribute. It's been fun to like, you know, like James put in the Rozelle beatboxing with Slick Rick earlier. It's just like, man, I haven't thought about Rozelle in a while.
Right.
Like, it's just dope to see like other people's, you know, specific interests within hip hop because it's so broad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
we all
broad.
have our own.
I remember somebody, when you posted it before, was talking about, I guess, hip hop getting mixed into mainstream music a little bit or something. They put in like something we should talk about. I mean, I guess we don't have to do it too much, but at this point, like you said, I mean, the spectrum's so broad. There's so much hip hop out there, from, you know, the golden era to kind of the Southern movement, you know, Bun B, Paul Wall, Houston stuff. And then, you know, also kind of where we're at now. There's so many places that different people at different ages can kind of have gravitated to one artist or to one thing that, I mean, it's just a no-brainer now to, you know, involve it in pop and in country music and, you know, a lot of these other things that just, it's so easy now. Like a few years ago or maybe 10 years ago, it's kind of like, oh, they're just trying to ride this wave of, you know, this hip-hop being popular. But now it's just like, well, no, it's just, that's what everybody knows a little bit about. So why not, you know, incorporate some elements when you can. So
yeah, it's the biggest genre in the world.
Yep.
And Lil Nas X.
Yes.
His you're like the man who won't be named, but
well, you know, I don't hate on the song. It's good. I mean, I'm a DJ. I have to do weddings, all sorts of stuff. So I have to play it.
You have to play it a lot.
And I mean, I can go to the countryest of the country wedding and still throw that in and they're vibing to it. So
man, it's crazy.
It's interesting.
His album's coming like next month or something like that. And
I don't know, man.
We'll see. 7 tracks. We'll see.
Keep it quick.
Yeah,
I guess,
no
man.
joke.
So.
No joke. But awesome, man. I think it's a good discussion. We'll have a rap recap for 2019.
Sure.
I guess we'll do the second half and then pick our like top 5 or something like that when the time comes.
Yeah.
So appreciate you, man. Good hanging.
No problem. Always, man. Good stuff, man.
Awesome.
Shout out to everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Strong Calm Podcast.